A Song to the Tune of Love by It's_Kingston on AO3. Episode 13. Chapter 5. Refrain. Whatever, Spinner said back, carrying the tray with all their food on back to the table. Boom! He put it in the middle, grabbed his bowl off of it. Fuck, that's damn hot! Didn't the guy just tell you it was hot? Are you 5? Dobby asked. He grabbed Spinner's bowl, hastily put it down in front of the gecko man. Oh, what? Thought the heat wouldn't bother you or something. Hot bowls are different from fire, dumbass. No shit, so why'd you grab it? Twice asked. They're both hot. What's the difference? You're all children, Shigaraki observed. Dumb little kids who can't wait 5 minutes before touching their hot-ass food. Shut up! You already grabbed yours too. Dobby pointed to the bowl Shigaraki had in front of him, and was about to eat from. You're literally trying to eat it now. I never said I was excluded from the dumb little kid group, especially that honor that goes to Jin, Toga, and the hero, and Kirigiri. Yes, I'm still here, Kirigiri said. You've all been too loud for me to get a word out. Oops. No, it's perfectly fine. I prefer listening. Not that. I knew that, Shigaraki said. He was staring at a spot on the table, piquing everyone's interest. A pile of peppers laid there amongst the ashes. Did you just decay their fucking pepper shaker? Kirigiri asked quietly. Shigaraki replied just as quietly. Perhaps. There's no perhaps. I could literally see the damn peppers sitting on the table. Spinner shouted, jabbing a finger towards it. Or maybe they have weird storage of pepper, and you just didn't notice it until now, Shigaraki suggested. Toga bumped her shoulder against Uraraka's. When she had the latter's attention, she nodded towards the door. I want to show you something, she whispered. While the others were distracted, they stepped out. Twice seemed to notice, as he discreetly waved them off. What's up? Uraraka asked as they got outside. It was dark now, as they had been there for almost an hour now. The streets weren't as packed, and the doors shut behind them. The clatter was trapped inside. I saw this ladder when we were getting here. It leads up to the roof, Toga announced, pointing at the alley between the shop and the building next door. Want to look at the stars while the food cools, and they have their fight? That sounds nice. Uraraka smiled softly. Pretending it's not trespassing to climb up there? Lead the way. Toga laughed as she took Uraraka's hand, and the pair began down the alley. The ladder wasn't in best shape, rickety and creaky when they climbed up, but the view was better than expected. Not perfect, not even close, but nice. Better than the park, you think? Uraraka asked Toga, once they sat down to the edge of the building. No, I don't think so. From the park, you can't really see the skyscrapers very well, and they get in the way here. As long as you don't look towards UA, it's all clear skies. Toga laced her fingers together. Uraraka moved her thumbs across the back of Toga's hand. Yeah, I think you're right. The park doesn't have all the car sounds either, Uraraka said. Toga hummed. Yeah, that'd be weird. That earned a laugh from Uraraka. Normally this would lead to their normal silence, that comfortable silence that wrapped around them, like a blanket straight out of the dryer, just without the clean dryer smell that came with it. What do you think? Toga blurted out, and Uraraka easily pinned down the little hinge in her voice that seemed to come out whenever she was nervous. Of the stars? Of my family, Toga corrected. Her grip on Uraraka's hand tightened. They seem a little loud and kind of scary, but they're nice and pretty funny too. I like them. I'm kind of scared to know their opinion on me, though, especially after the war and all. Uraraka laughed wryly. They like you, Toga reassured her. They really don't mind that you're a hero, as long as I like you and you're nice. I promise. I believe you, really. Uraraka said softly. Was this how you felt in UA, though? Toga hesitated to answer. Like they aren't gonna kick you out, but they really don't think you belong here? Yeah, Uraraka sighed. Sorry they made you feel like that. Shaking her head, Toga replied. By the end of the night, it was like most of them didn't care anymore, especially Mina. She was nice. She smiled. That's good at least. Uraraka returned the smile. If you want. Toga paused, seeming to think it over. I can grab your food to go and tell them something came up. Thanks, but I'm good. You put up with my friends the whole time. And besides, it's not terrible. Mina was definitely being meaner. I just feel watched. That's because they're watching you. They aren't going to do anything, though. They just want to figure you out. Only a handful of heroes have been around since the war ended, and only a handful had good intentions. Toga elaborated. Yeah, I get that. Uraraka affirmed. It's not like I've been completely relaxed the entire time either. You said they're scary, right? What if I asked them to come out here, one at a time, and you got to talk to them then? Would that be less scary for you? Uraraka lifted their joint hands, pressed a kiss to the back of Toga's hand. You don't have to do that. I appreciate it, though. I really want you to get along, and if you're scared and nervous around them, it's not really getting along. Toga jumped up, pulling Uraraka with her. You stay here. I'll send someone up. She was scurrying down the ladder before Uraraka could reply. Back in the buildings, moments later. Uraraka sighed, smiled fondly. All right, I'll try to make it my best work. Try doesn't mean succeed, right? Yeah, good. It doesn't. Uraraka was really glad it didn't, because she was going to fail on purpose. She really wanted to get along with the League, if only to put Toga at ease. But when Dabi climbed up the ladder, looking as annoyed as the day was long, Uraraka began to worry. Oh, you're first, she asked. She very quickly realized how bad that sounded. Yup, me. I volunteered to leave that chaotic bunch as soon as the crazy offered. She noticed that he held something, nodded to it. What is that? Your dinner, he replied, stepped forward and pushed a bowl into her hand. She grabbed a hold of the chopsticks already buried in the bowl. Thanks, you didn't have to. Uraraka smiled up at him. He didn't smile back, simply returned to the ladder and sat down, hung his legs over the ledge. Uraraka joined him above the alley, sitting far enough to fit several people between them. Was getting cold, he answered. He pulled a pack of cigarettes from his coat pocket, lit it with his quirk. The tip set off an eerie blue glow, lighting up his face in hard shadows. It wasn't helping his annoyed glare whatsoever. So, did Himiko tell you why she wanted you to come up here? She took a bite, grimace as she chewed through cold noodles. To talk to you? She didn't really say why, but I bet my bottom dollar it's 'cause you think we're scary. He glanced over, saw her expression. Figures. Not in a bad way, Uraraka replied. Just in a unsure way? Dabi nodded along, as if he understood. Uraraka wondered if he did or not. I'm not a heart-to-heart guy. Didn't think so. Uraraka took another bite. She really should have eaten sooner. You've got your ear pierced, right? He raised an eyebrow. Yeah. What? You like the place? No, I was just gonna ask which one was your favorite. Like, if you had one. That's weird. What'd you want to know? He took off his cigarette, let the smoke he inhaled drift into the air and dissipate. Thought it'd be better than having some heart-to-heart about getting along for Himiko's sake? Uraraka sighed. Ugh, he murmured. Uraraka wondered if it was the talking of getting along that caused it. I count all the medical stripes as piercings. Don't know if I'd gotten as many as to choose them, but I think they're cool. Favorite is probably these, though. He gestured to the earrings he wore. Uraraka nodded. They look nice. Thanks, he murmured. A smirk grew on his face. Hey, Crazy always said that these things were cool looking. He traced a finger across the arc under his eye, pausing on the staples. I did it myself. Would give you one to match if you wanted. He held his hand out, palm up, and chuckled. No thanks, Uraraka replied. She was starting to get a grip on his sense of humor. Hesitantly, she put her bowl down in his hand. But if you're offering to use your quirk already, my food's cold. A soft chuckle came from him, raspy and honest. What's the harm? He asked no one in particular. Then a blue glow came up, the lightest flicker of fire, wrapping the bowl. After a second, it died out. Don't get it twisted. He handed the bowl back. Hot as it was, Uraraka placed it down on the roof. Don't get what twisted? I don't like you, he said bluntly. But I don't mind you either. Toga's fond of you, so I won't kill you at least. You're not half bad, hero. You're not terrible yourself. Uraraka stopped herself before overstepping and broke their truce. Dabi smiled a crook, wild smile. Villain. He finished for her. I don't care if you call me villain. I'm one just as much as you're a hero. Just don't say that to Crazy. Kaguri says it's something about distance it creates. She doesn't care about being labeled like that. Thanks. Uraraka smiled back. For what? The food? The advice? Or the piercing offer? The food, the advice, and being cool. Dabi raised an eyebrow. Alright. He shrugged. I'm tagging someone in, he said before dropping down the ladder. His cigarette fell to the alley floor, blue glow simmering out. Okay, alright. So, we're gonna do one-on-ones. Interesting. I like this. I think it's sweet. I think it's sweet that obviously Uraraka is trying. It is sweet, it's adorable, and it speaks volumes to, obviously Uraraka, and how much she actually likes, Toga. Right? Like, for example, there's no example. Hold up. It speaks volumes to how much Uraraka is willing to put up with. Not even just put up with, but do for Toga. And I mean, I think they're doing everything backwards, if I'm being honest. Or not backwards, but Uraraka showed and introduced Toga to not her family, but her second family, right? Which is Class 1A. That's her second family, right? And Toga literally introduced Uraraka to maybe not her biological family, but this is her family. It's not her second family, it's her family. Point blank. It's her family. And I think it's really sweet that she introduced her family to Uraraka and Uraraka to her family. I think it's sweet and it speaks volumes to how much Toga really likes Uraraka, And I really like this ship. As I said, the ship brings up many cool dynamics. In this specific instance, it's a really cool dynamic. I'm worried though that that there's gonna be a little bit of angst. I don't know if there is gonna be angst or not, but I'm scared because I know that there was a perfect moment, a perfect setup for angst, which is the angst of Uraraka feeling as though Toga is only being with her to use her to get the trust of other heroes. Being like, hey, I'm dating a hero, and I'm friends with a bunch of heroes because I'm dating a hero, therefore I can't be bad. Kind of using Uraraka in a sense. Obviously Toga's not actually doing that, but having Uraraka feel as though that's what's happening, Anyways, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.